have them do the transactions for them before, technology and everything evolved and we started to do it ourselves. So I thought that was the whole process until I started doing research on YouTube, and the first person I came upon was Tim Sykes. That was the first. That was the
Ding,
first
ding,
person
ding,
I.
ding. So now that's 2 for 2 again. Now, so Matt, living like Matt and you. Now that's 2 for 2. Now both, and even me, because we both were right there. Who, that's why I
Yeah,
did a chat poll
yeah,
the other day. Who started with Sykes with almost most? Well, I say most, but a lot of us did. But that is so
yeah,
funny. I mean,
exactly.
all of us are in that same path. So I want most traders. My point being, how many of us were in the same shoes early on, and where we've gotten
Yeah,
to.
yeah, exactly. Once I got into that, I still had trouble trying to understand it because he didn't break it down to a science like Sean does. Sean will break it down to almost an elementary style type to the point that you'll get it completely.
Right.
Um, I picked up a few things, but it didn't put me on the level to where I'm at now because when I first started doing it, I was pretty much gambling at that time. I was getting lucky wins, getting in and out of plays. I'm thinking that was it. I wasn't going by patterns back then. I was pretty much going by numbers. So if I see green, I'm like, all right, cool, got it. But one thing about resistance, one thing about
Yeah.
support, and none of that stuff. Um, it took some time, and then I don't know if you know Roland Wolf. Ran across him,
Yep. Definitely heard him. Yep.
and, and then once I ran across Roland Wolf was the one that actually broke it down. As far as how important VWAP is, because I didn't know anything about the VWAP, and like I said, once I started to understand on how important it was, I started to take that serious. Now I didn't really get into the level I was at until I ran into Sean. And like I said, I went on YouTube and wound up running into him, going over a few videos. And then, like I said, the way he broke it down, it started to click more and faster. And the way he basically he would teach his lessons, it just made it more interesting. Like you wanted to stay
100%.
hooked
Right. I
the
don't know how
way
many
he.
people tell me that when I found deck, because a lot of that, the energy, breaking it down a little bit more so than a lot of traders did. But that's what it's so funny. Even myself, that's how I got glued to him. I mean,
Yeah,
it's what that enthusiasm that kind of gets you to stick, and then he's teaching you a little bit more than you've learned before, and so it's one thing after the other.
yeah, and it's like even with him, I didn't look at him as like this mentor. I looked at him as a brother, like somebody that really cared and not just try to pull you in to try to sell you dreams and all of this crap. He really pulled you in and showed that he really cared on the outcome of your trading abilities, pretty much. Um, but I didn't, like I said, I didn't start really getting the hang of it till maybe I say a year or two in after I started trading. And like I said, once I got hooked on to Sean, and especially when my kids came into the picture, because I had to realize that, when I was trading, it wasn't just about me anymore because I had to make a way for me and my children. Because I never want to be a failure in their eyes. I always want to be their hero, in which
Right.
I
100%.
still,
Yeah.
put to this day that I always want to be there for them. So even when I trade now these days, it's like if I lose money, they lose money. If I win, they win, and
Oh,
that's
that's a
how I
good
look.
mindset, and that's going to keep you pushing harder and harder and harder. 100%.
Exactly, because if anything, I'm trying to, create a future for them, in the long run, so they'll have money for college and anything that they may need in life, and like I said, just to do the very best that I can, because even when I'm dead and gone, I want my legacy to live on even through my kids. If they want to, they want to take on this venture. But yeah, I mean, I went through hard times, as far as stock trading. Like I said, I had to hit that point in life that, once I started losing money, reality sets in, and you think you're on top of the world because you're making this amount of money and you win it. Then once that reality hits you, when you start losing, with me it was depression and stress and everything else, and I was questioning myself on why am I here and what's my real purpose of being here on this earth. But if it wasn't for the grace of God and my kids and my family who kept pushing me to see the best within myself, then I probably would have given up on life a long time ago. But I also thank God for Sean. I thank God for y'all because y'all looked at me and took me in as a brother, and y'all helped me see the very best in myself.
And becoming your own trader, which you've become, and that's why I'm always saying, like, I'm not trading down trend lines, but boy, I know right now who'd be trading this, or whatever, because yeah, exactly, which I love to see. And so just give that time frame, because every trader I know get that a lot. What was that time frame? So kind of, and that struggle some, because for me, because I like you had other stuff going on. Me, it was jobs. Of course, I had the wife going on, no kids, so you have kids. You've got a lot. You got a family essentially. I have no well,
Yeah.
I got my dogs, but let's be real. You got a real family. So what's that time frame? As in you're trying to figure out. So what's that time frame when you first maybe figured out? Like me, it was about, because of course I was back and forth that couldn't put the time in. So it was about 2 years till I finally, because I realized, hey, I've got to put the time in, like me and Alex Vaughn just talked about, and gave myself 6 months of, hey, I've got to watch the tape. I've got to be here all day, every day. And so it was 2 years, but yeah, it was really about 6 to 7 months until I really started clicking, because I realized I had to put the time in. So it was 2 years for me, but 7 months of really learning. And so what was it for you? What was that time frame to where?
It was roughly around 2 years, but even once I hit that mark of figuring out what I was doing, I still put myself in the downfall, because me being too cocky. Because once you make a certain amount of money, you feel like you're invincible. Like the money that you're making, you'll never run out of it until reality.
Exactly, 100% right.
And you start right back from scratch, and it put me in that position because I was watching a few videos that motivation tell you, oh man, you need to go pursue your dream, and you need to jump off the cliff, while everybody watching you fall. And, if you just take this chance and opportunity, you go far in life. Wound up quitting a good job that I had, thinking that because I had it all figured out. My fiance, who I was with, didn't even tell her that I quit my job on top of that, because I was working at the plants. So she was wondering why I was always at home, just stuck on the computer. And she was like, "You're not going to work?" I'm like, "Nah, I quit." Never brought it up to her. So, and I had to look at her face, and she realized, like, I seen that fear, because the fear of her just the only one bringing in income now. And now I'm taking a risk in the market, not knowing my situation, because I wasn't planning ahead in the future. I'm just going off of this adrenaline, not thinking ahead of time. And again, thinking about the future on, what about this don't work out? Do I have money to the side, to survive off on? And that was situations that I didn't think about until, late. And then once I fell, and like I said, once I started, I let my job go and the reality hit me, I had to pick myself back up, started getting that confidence back in myself, started praying more, and just learning from my mistake, which made me a better person, pretty much.
So how early on too, what was it, just real quickly, because I hadn't asked just about living like Matt. I think a little bit, I forgot to go with Alex Vaughn. What was it early on? Was in, we did put the tapes, was it the tape time in? Was it tracking your trades? What was it that really kind of put you over that hump and really kind of got you that next level that you figured out, hey, it's clicking now? What was it that really helped you out there early on?
It was tracking. Once I started tracking my trades, because every time I would trade, I mean, like I said, I wouldn't have no type of documents, no records, anything. Once I trade, I just go about my business. Okay, next day, do the same thing, repeat it, instead of just writing it down and really, trying to analyze, the past, and just trying to prep myself up for what can happen in the future, and that was my downfall. Then I wound up realizing, okay, this is what I need to do to better myself.
That's awesome. Because that's what I tell a lot of traders though, and they don't realize it early on. Same thing happened to me. That's why I thought it happened to you too. But just going over and it's almost like homework, right? We go to school. Yeah. That's the market, and then later on we're gonna go back and let's go look over those trades. What we do wrong, what we do right, what can we fix to do it? What did we learn from today's lesson? Essentially, that we did earlier. Did we learn anything from it? And the more you do that, you're gonna start learning and taking stuff from it.
And then even when I started, even with the market, not knowing what I was doing, I was going on YouTube, watching YouTube videos and figuring out on what indicators to use, which at one point I had my whole chart looking like a rainbow fest, because I didn't know what indicators to use at the moment. So I'm going off of a 9, a 50, 100, 200, 150. I mean, and then
but I do say that early on, figure it out, get it in and say, hey, here's what's working, here's what's not working. So you do at least put that, that work in to say, hey, what's working, what's not working. And you're going, oh, like we've all figured out which moving averages are working on the intraday and what minutes, what minute frame you're looking for. Right.
And then not just that, and when you first started, you have that fear of hitting that buy button. And the minute you hit it, your heart is beating outside of your chest, because you don't know what you're doing after that point. You don't know where to get out at, because you didn't come up with a game plan. And I mean, it's just that fear that brings you down a lot too. And I had to overcome that fear and coming up with an actual trading plan to figure out, okay, this is where I need to get out at. This is where I need to enter at. And it was, like I said, it was a lot of mistakes that I had to go through in life in order to, make me a better trader, pretty much.
So let's get into it real quickly. I love the background. I guarantee it's relating to a lot of traders, so they know. That's what I love, getting a lot of, and getting to know you a little bit more. But then also for the traders in chat that don't know you at all, but then they go, oh, I've been there. Oh, I feel that. Oh, I know that. That struggle, that strat. So that's what I want you. That's why I love kind of getting to know you and asking those questions. But now let's get into.
And do not quit your job, please. I mean, like I said, from a person who made that mistake, do not quit your job. Just make sure that you have some type of financial stability on the side, just in case things, don't go right in the market, but at least you still have that, that security net, to help you out as you're trying to get back to where you need to.
100%.
I had to learn from my mistakes, and it does weigh down on your relationships, and I mean, even yourself. You start to down yourself and lose confidence, and you just got to find that will to keep fighting and fight through your mistakes, and but as humans, we hard-headed. We got to learn from the hard way.
We all do. So real quickly, Jay Trades is on his phone. We're working on that. That's a question. Jesse's on his phone. Don't worry, we're gonna get round 2 of Jay Trades. We're getting him a webcam. But Manny asking if whether it's you or anyone else, what would you say would be comfortable with? Because I know we have those traders that are out there that maybe want to quit their job. What would you say would you feel comfortable with, or what did you want to? He said, how much did you start with that was comfortable quitting the job? So I'm saying, I guess how much should you have backed up, or how much are you starting with your trading account that you need to feel comfortable with, essentially? Because Deck always gives his certain number. What would you say? And of course, everyone's different. That's what I'd say. Everyone's different. Your family's circumstances are going to be different. But what would you say would be a good number to say, hey, I've got this much saved up, or I've got this much to trade with, and kind of feel a little comfortable about it?
Honestly, I would say close to $100,000, because at least you could trade with 40,000. I mean, you could trade with roughly 40,000, which puts you over the PDT, which you trade every day, but you'll still have 60,000 to survive off on, because all you have to do is just really handle yourself in the financial way. Don't live outside of your means. Don't try to pretend that you're rich, because like they were saying, poor people want to pretend to be rich. If you don't have the money, then don't try to to impress people. Because that's why a lot of people downfall is that when you're too busy trying to impress people, which is why I tell people stay off of Instagram, because all of that is not real. Because you don't know what they're doing once they log off of that website.
Right, yeah. And they could be copying and pasting and making their own. They're going over Photoshop and
half the time they're not even owning their cars, they're renting. And just
right, exactly. Yeah, well, I'm not we want to get into all that. Let's not get into all that. But let's get into right. Let's get into for sure though, real quickly now. So let's get because like I said, we're holding the phone there. Let's get into what you're looking for though daily. Pre-market now. So Jay Trades, what are we looking for? Whether it's pre-market, it's in-market. What are we looking for day in, day out? What setups are we kind of preparing ourselves for? Whether it's a float, it's a certain PR, it's a certain setup. You don't care what the ticker is. What are we kind of looking for?
5 criteria. I look for, like I said, I look for news, I look for low float, I look for volume, for market conditions and chart patterns. The same routine that never changes.
Love it. And that's how long we've been talking about that. The Deckmar trying to you're making some cookies. You got your recipe. We're talking about it earlier. You got your sugar, you got your flour, you got your eggs, you got your milk, or whatever the heck all goes in that. You got your baking soda, powder, whatever goes in there. You need your sugar. You need those key ingredients, because if you don't have them, most likely those setups. Now, admittedly, few and far between. We're gonna have those setups, kind of like I've got what the most recent one, where it's kind of up on no news, and it's just running, going, why is this up? I think maybe not PIK. Maybe it is EIGR. I think no, that's EIGR. I think it is PIK. I think it's PIK that was running up a little bit more out of no news. But whatever it is, you're gonna have those, and so a lot of the days I'm looking to short those because we kind of know those are up for no reason at all. But I just kind of want to know each morning what we're looking for. And then after you want to, just kind of dive in right now if you want to flip the phone around and just kind of go over briefly those setups. Because I know a lot of traders, whether it's your M setup, it's your W, it's a downtrend break, anything you want to go over to kind of let traders know what you're looking for day in, day out, and how you're trading those. Just give us a good 5-10 minutes or so just to kind of go over what you're looking for, however long you want to go over them. And then we'll get some questions in to end it off here. So yeah, if you want to...
Now, what got me to the downtrend break, I'm not going to lie, was because of my timing. I used to be horrible at trying to find breakouts and trying to chase plays. And I got to the point that what I started doing was just kind of sitting back and letting the plays come to me, because I realized once I would chase, I would end up losing. So right when I'm thinking I'm getting into the right entry point, that's when the stock is turning around against me. So what I started to do, I sat back and just realized, like, what am I doing wrong? And when I first started trading, the first thing I did was I was hopping in the stock as soon as the bell rang, which was a no-no, because I had to realize you just need to sit out 10 to 15 minutes and kind of let
that was me. I said that all the time. That was me. That was
yeah. And then once you start to realize that, you start to let the market die off, you'll kind of start to see exactly where the mob is moving to. What is the important play during that time? You know. Let me see.
Yeah, you're good. Yeah, but exactly. That's exactly what I tell most traders, the way you kind of turn the phone around to get it ready. But I tell them all the time, unless you're used to that crazy morning volume and validity, just wait for your plays to come. You give it 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes and let something set up and wait for plays. So yeah, go on over here and let's see what you're looking for, boss.
Okay. Like how I came up with the M and the W. See, the thing that I do is I used to be an art major. So I look at the charts as a work like art, pretty much. You know how, okay, if you go to an art gallery, a splatter would look like splatter to you.
Right.
Somebody that
Right.
has an eye for art, they can see something within that painting. So that's kind of like what I look at when I look at like the W. I look for that pullback right here, which is the longer leg. And then once that second leg come up, I realize that, it's kind of building like higher lows. If you notice. Yeah, it's building higher lows right in these areas. And once I see that a potential breakout is coming. And not just that, I see the squeeze between the 9 EMA and the 20 EMA. And you kind of see right here where the squeeze is taking place at, right here. And this is normally where I get in at. I get in this lower part, I get it right here to breakout. But like what I'm saying is I don't chase right here. I'm taking time to let the stock do what it has to do, regain itself. And then I'll enter right here with you already know the downtrend.
Right, exactly, 100%. Because I see these all the time, and I'm like, man, I know J Trade just got in on that. Because I miss them because exactly, it's like it gets exhausted or whatever you want to call it, pulls back, and you just wait for that downtrend to form. And then like you see, I just don't trade them enough. But that W starts forming, and like you said, higher lows start forming, forms that trend line, squeezes out of that downtrend right there, pushes up, and I don't use them anymore because I just me, I try to keep my chart clear. But I used to use like you, or the old school, we use the 9 and the 20 instead of the 8 and the 20, which a lot of you use now. But that 9 and the 20 squeeze, and then whammy right there where that circle goes, and that's it. You're taking profit up over that little dotted yellow line right there, essentially.
And not just that, what gives me security, okay, this is the VWAP right here. Once I see that stock is on top of the, it's covering right back over on the VWAP, I see that the 9 EMA and the 20 EMA is also holding up as support. So you basically have 3 lines of support. So you not only have the VWAP, you also have the 9 EMA and the 20 EMA, which gives it support to start to move back on up. And then if you notice, it comes into a squeeze right here.
Right, 100%.
That gives me, and also, with the M.
It's just almost an inverse, is it not? It's almost like the W, but inverse.
Exactly, because if you flip it upside down, it's pretty much the same thing. Yeah, see, that's the M.
That's crazy. Yeah, you did. I'm like, hold on, what'd you do there? I'm like, yeah, you flipped it. That's so crazy looking.
Pretty much the same thing. And what I used to do, let me see, what's that chart at? Another thing, what I used to do is I used to turn, okay, this is you see how you have the bounces right here?
Right.
Okay, so what I used to do is, a little trick I did was I would flip the chart upside down. So I would look at it as, okay, it's hitting a high and it's dropping.
Right.
So basically, this is how I would look at it in reverse.
I do that. I'm not kidding you. I did that same thing early on to help me for the flip side of it. I would just do, because it would be hard to do, but you just flip it over and it helps you see. It really starts helping you out on both within resistance and support majorly when you do that.
Yeah. And like I said, I always bring up in chat that I normally use the 5-day 1 hour chart because sometimes I can tell, when the stock is making some type of pattern in a sense. So this is a 5-day 1 hour chart. So I'll look back in the past and then I'll go forward just to kind of see if it's forming some type of pattern. If you notice, it's a downtrend, and I'll see if that downtrend is going to eventually break pretty much.
Someone just brought, is this current or is this an old school clip?
Yeah.
Because my point being, someone just brought up one of these in chat. I don't know. I didn't know if this was a current stock or is this one you just have a picture from the past?
Yeah, that's from the past.
Yeah, there was a setup. God, team, I don't know. It was Wild Boy. Who was it? Someone in chat doing the same. They're using the same setup. They're using that I call it a 60-minute, but 1 hour chart, whatever you want to call it, in the 5-day. There is a stock that has that same exact setup right there, boss. And I was like, whoa, I see that. We brought it up. Who was it yesterday? Someone brought this up though in chat though, boss, for real. And it was the same exact setup. I was like, wow, I see exactly what you're looking at there. So yeah, that's beautiful. And then do you trade that since it's a daily? Do you trade that more of a long-term trade, or like when you're using that 1 hour chart? Or you
no. All I do is, okay, like say for instance, I'm watching MULN and I'm just seeing what it's doing right now. All I'll do is go to the 5-minute.
I think it was MULN. I think it is MULN that's in that. I think it is MULN that's in that 5-day. No, it didn't. No, it didn't MULN. There was another one that's in a 5-day pattern that's in, or maybe it was in yesterday. Yeah, go back a little bit. That is it. That is it, team. That is the one because it broke out today. That is the one, boss. So yeah, tell me how you traded
Yeah.
this.
And that's how I look, and that's how I look for patterns, early on. Like I look to see what it done in the past, like 5 days, to 2 weeks, just to see if it's, coming up to a resistance area that it hit in the past, and just to see if it's going to create a breakout.
Right.
Same thing as PIK. Let's see. Let me see. See, same here. Like if you notice in the past, it didn't do anything, didn't do nothing, and all of a sudden it exploded. But what makes it more hesitant is that it don't have any line of support, to fall back on. So it kind of makes it a little difficult to see what's, basically.
Where's it going to pull back to exactly? Right.
Yeah, exactly. Versus MULN, if you go back, you kind of see in the past where you had resistance at right here. And you can base your entries right in these areas. So like I said, I would just take my charts and I'll just find little ways to figure things out. But yeah, that's normally what I would do.
Is that pretty much what you're looking for on a day in, day out basis, that same setup to form over? Because we're going to see those every day, essentially. So that's essentially what you're looking for. Just waiting for that setup to happen and then attack it when it forms.
What other stocks did they have? Was it MIBB? Yeah, like I'll just, like I said, I'll use the 5-day, 30-minute chart just to see if I can find some type of pattern, for a stock that's pretty much running the day to see if it's about to hit up to some resistance or some support. But I do this for every single chart. And then once I see that I have an opening to enter at, I'll put it right back on my 1 minute, 3-minute chart. And then I'll just try to figure out. Let me see for which stock. That is, no, that's, is that MBII? Yeah, see, you had resistance at 110. So basically it would have to re-break 110. And the reason why, because like I said, if I go back to the 5-minute 30, I didn't see a specific pattern on this one. So once I don't see a specific pattern on the 5-day 30 to let me know anything, to indicate anything, I'll just go back to the normal chart and just see if I can find resistance and support. And if you put this on a 5-day, 5-minute chart, you notice what it's forming too. You notice it's forming that W again too.
Sorry, yeah, team. I'll turn my music down. Sorry, or my music down, my volume. But yeah, point being, so what I said real quickly, team, was kind of like I bring up all the time those upper shadows, that high area of the day, whether it's in pre-market, whatever time of the day it is. Same with Living Like Matt on Monday. Right now, J Trades is bringing it up. That's that key area. Whatever that high is, that's the area for that next leg up, for that next level up, whatever you want to call it. That's what we're looking for. So traders, shorters are coming in there, and then longs are coming in once, like J Trades, longs are coming in once we break them and clear that level for the next leg and next move up, essentially. And so always keep those in mind. I mean, every time we see those, team, like J Trades has that orange line in right there, 100%. Keep and put that in for sure. Oh, may have lost J Trades. Hopefully we'll come back in just a second there. All right, so just real quickly, team, that is fine. But J Trades, we're going to get him back for sure on. He was trying to get a web camera. No worries. We will get J Trades back on, though. I wouldn't want to try to keep him too long today if he does come back. And then he just dropped out. He'll probably rejoin in just a second. So quickly, team, if you have any questions, comments, concerns for J Trades, let me know. Let me get out of this if I can. Gallery, maybe? Let's go gallery. How do I get out of the big screen here, team? There we go. Finally, get AK's big noggin off the freaking screen. But if you have any last questions, comments, concerns for J Trades, we'll try to get him back on. Otherwise, I'm going to get him. We're going to get everyone back on here. Here he comes. There's my boy. Here comes my boy. There he is. It's all good, boss. There you go. We got you back. We got you back. And no worries, J Trades. I know you're on the phone. So if you want to, like I said, get that. We'll get the webcam going next time, boss, so you can do the screen share, whatever. But seriously, thank you so much for coming over. I did get this recorded, so I can put at least this version up. Next time we can get a little bit longer, and we'll do another version as well. But seriously, man, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. And yeah, man. And then next time we'll do a little, if you want to, we can hang out for a little bit at first and actually do a little Zoom one time, make sure everything's rocking and rolling. But yeah, we'll get the webcam, and then that way it's so easy to do the screen share, so you can just share your screen and go a little bit extended. But everyone, of course, thank everyone. Thank y'all so much for being appreciative. Thank J Trades for coming on in. And of course, the family man you are. It's another reason why I love you so much, boss. Just so much of the family man. Just love it so much. It's so beautiful. Any last questions for J Trades now that he's right here real quickly? He said, which indicator is that orange line? Watson, that was just a resistance line that J Trades put in there. It was a top resistance line that you, like I always do, or Deck puts in. His will be orange, or I should say red a lot of the time, but just that top area of resistance that we have to break over.
Now the indicators I use the orange is the 20 EMA, the blue line is the 9 EMA, and I use the red line for the 50 EMA. So pretty much it's like I use the, how we have, for the daily, we have the 13, the 50, and the 200. I kind of use those as the intraday setup. That's how I normally do.
I appreciate it. Any last questions real quick? But that's what I didn't know if he meant that top resistance line. But yes, the moving average, me and J Trades, that's why I always mention that I like you always used to use the 9 and the 20. Do you still use the 50? I didn't hear. Would you still use the 50? Did you ever use the 50? Which other one? I thought you used to use a different one.
I used to. God, I can't think. I think it might have been 100.
Oh yeah, I couldn't remember. Because I know you were going over those ones earlier where you were saying, well, I used to use it because I know back in the day I was the same right there with you where I was experimenting. I remember there was one that was another one we both tried to use there for a while, but I know in the end we were always talking about the 9 and the 20. I was like, I thought there was another one we used to use. I couldn't remember, but it was funny because it was the trial and error that we talk about that we have to go through essentially, figuring out what's going to work and what isn't going to work.
Yeah, but the 9 and the 20 works real well doing intraday because the stock reacts to it real well, and I never have an issue. Like I said, it's also a good thing once it creates a squeeze between the VWAP.
And that's where you get your big time downtrend breaks in at that same area with the VWAP, and then boom, whammy, all those. It's kind of like a triple whammy. With my double whammy, that's like a triple whammy effect right there. That's just like, yeah, it's kind of screaming at you to go long.
Yeah.
Boss, seriously, thank you so much for coming over. Obviously, everyone in chat thanks you. Watson, Telma, everyone in chat. Gator Trader to Miss Boss, Jaddy, we always call him Jaddy with the caddy. So we get Jaddy with the caddy in chat. Allie, but yeah, thank you so much, J Trades. We'll get you back on next month. I'll get you and Alex Vaughn on again, get a little bit longer one day. Get that double combo one because these guys love it. It fills up, which I'll do, and of course it'll be when I'm going live, so it'll be a little bit earlier in the morning. But I'd love to get you guys on. Maybe we'll just separate, of course, since I'll be going live. I'll do you one day, we'll do Alex Vaughn one day, so on and so forth. But I definitely want to get you back on, so that way we can do a little more screen sharing and go over a little bit more of the strategies. Ask you a few more questions. I want to keep you forever here. I know you got a family and some work to be done. So, but again, thank you so much for coming over, boss. Appreciate it.
And thank y'all again, and team. Thank y'all for believing in me. So y'all give me the reason to keep pushing as well. To giving y'all the best information that I can provide, and also provide for my family. So I thank y'all for having faith in me, and I have faith in y'all, and I know we're gonna kill it for 2022.
Yes, sir. So let's get it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And are we doing any challenge? Are we still doing a challenge or anything? Maybe this year? Are we too busy? I didn't know if we're gonna get back into the challenges or all.
I'm still doing it.
Cool.
I'm doing it.
All right, baby. All right. Sweet. So J Trades, love to have you in chat. Guys, don't forget J Trades. He's been around for 4, 5, 6, 7. We're like the ancient. We've been around for like 800 years in chat, essentially. Yeah, right. So see you next time, boss. I'll give you a shout later today for sure, but thank you so much for coming on over. Again, you can tell everyone's super appreciative of you. You're like I said, you're like the ninja. Like Storm Shadow, who's the guy in the G.I. Joes that wore the white suit for the good guys? Storm Shadow, I forgot. No, what's his name, guy? Whoever it was that's who you are. You remind me of the good guy that was the G.I. Joes. He had the sword. Who was it? Not Storm Shadow team. Who was it? Hey, Snake Eyes. Snake Eyes. You're like Snake Eyes because they just had a movie out last year. You're like Snake Eyes. Literally, it kind of looks like you. Kind of look like Snake Eyes even too. You got those pretty big eyes. Come on in. You just kill it. Appreciate it, boss. Have a good rest of your day. I'll give you a shout later. Thank you so much for coming over, bub.
All right, you too, boss.
All right, later.
All right.
Bye. There we go.